TBH, I like to wear my glasses all the time, especially when I have to look at something from a long distance. But because they make me look so serious, I'd rather do my videos without them. So let's get this off. Okay, if you notice, I used TBH, and that's an abbreviation. We would be talking about abbreviations today on Fluently Speaking with Bola. Hi guys, welcome to Fluently Speaking with Bola. My name is Omobolanle Adeshe. An abbreviation is a small group of letters that represent a larger phrase or word. Now we're going to be looking at different abbreviations, but before we go into that, let me sound a note of warning that these abbreviations are mostly accepted in informal settings. When it comes to formal settings like writing a mail, some of them are applicable in writing mails actually, but most times when it comes to getting formal like a job interview, writing formal letters, you want to spell out your words fully, okay? But mostly using social media, the internet generally, writing text messages, you'd discover that these abbreviations help out a whole lot. And most times you've been seeing them, especially on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You've come across many of these abbreviations, but you probably have not been able to tell what they mean, or you just gave them your own meaning like we do in some situations. So we're going to be getting into all of this, and it promises to be fun. ASAP. Now, ASAP could be used in emails. It's used in both formal and informal settings, but most times, especially if you're not familiar with the person you're interacting or communicating with, you might want to spell out your words fully in order not to come across to the person as someone who is nonchalant or not serious about whatever business you're into. Okay, so ASAP could also be pronounced as ASAP. It simply means as soon as possible. So I'll get the mail across to you as soon as possible, or I'm very busy at the moment, but I'll make sure I get it done as soon as possible. I'll get it done ASAP. You also may have come across this, especially if you do a 9-to-5 job. Also used on social media, that's the FYI. Now, FYI means for your information. It's simply used to add extra information. So, yes, we've painted the whole building. FYI, it costs 50,000 naira. So, you're adding extra information to the whole information you already gave out. This next one, in fact, I think I have abused it. I use it a lot. It's ETA, estimated time of arrival. So say for instance, a friend travels or someone goes somewhere, and then you're expecting the person to come back sooner or later, and then you ask, what's your ETA? You're asking what's your estimated time of arrival. So the person is supposed to guess or give you a particular time to expect him or her. So what's your ETA? I should be back at about 5 p.m. or I won't be back until tomorrow. DIY. DIY is also commonly used. It means do it yourself. So when you check magazines, you check on social media, you find a lot of it. In fact, on YouTube, you see a lot of DIYs because many people are looking for easier, simpler, cheaper ways to do things, and DIY just means a way you can do many of these things yourself without having to pay a professional. So a lot of things, for instance, this lockdown, the recent COVID-19 lockdown actually made a lot of people discover their innate abilities, and so you begin to do a lot of things yourself. For instance, DIY face mask, DIY wigs, DIY makeup, DIY dresses, a lot of things that you can do by yourself, and that would help you cut cost and also save you the stress or the trauma of not getting exactly what you want. So you go on YouTube to learn, you learn on the internet, and then you're good to go. This one is most commonly used when you're comparing two things. It means versus, and sometimes it's shortened to verse, but it still means versus, to compare between two things. And it's also used in sports when two teams are playing. They say Man U versus Chelsea. or Liverpool versus Serbia. So it's usually used in different terms, but the abbreviation, when you see VS, you know what you're talking about is versus. RSVP. I've talked about this in a lot of my videos, and that's because it's commonly used a lot of times, especially when you have an invite to a party. It's usually written at the bottom of invites. RSVP. It's a French word meaning répondez s'il vous plaît, and it means respond if you please. Respond please. So when you get an invite and you have the RSVP written at the bottom, it means the sender expects you to respond. So RSVP, not rice and stew very plenty. Respond please. Postscriptum, PS. Now PS is an abbreviation that means postscriptum. It's a Latin word and it's usually written as an afterthought. So say you've written a body of mail or a body of letter. It was commonly used back then, in those days when there were no mobile phones, no laptops, no computers. So people solely depended on letter writing to pass messages across. And so you would find a body of letter. At the bottom you find PS, I love you, or PS, we've done the whatever it is, additional information you want to put there. And so I remember this movie, PS, I love you. How many of you watched that movie? If you watched that movie, you're really old. All right, let's move on to the next one. KISS. But in formal terms, it means keep it simple, stupid. So it's usually used in presentations to tell you that presentations are better understood or better communicated when you keep your presentation or your presentation slides in using PowerPoint slides. When you keep it as simple as possible, people would better understand in terms of the fonts you use, the pictures, the colors. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Now let's go to the ones that are most commonly used on social media. But before we do that, let's stop by at Vocab Spot to check out the word of the week. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Be right back is the first one we'll be talking about, BRB. Now, many times when you see this, the first time I saw this, I didn't quite get what it meant, but later on, thinking about it and then seeing it used repeatedly, I began to understand what it meant. So it's be right back. For instance, I used it before going for the break to visit the Vocab Spot. And so it's used most times when you want to put a pause to your conversation on social media. Say, for instance, you're chatting with someone on WhatsApp or on Twitter or on any of the other social media platforms. You want to tell the person, it's a way of showing respect to the other person you're communicating with, that I'm going away for a while, but I would be right back. So let's do a little quiz before we go on. I'm going to be mentioning some abbreviations we use commonly on social media and then give you two options to choose from. And you'd let me know at the end of the whole quiz how many of the questions or how many of the points you got right. Don't cheat. Anyways, I trust you, you won't cheat. So the first one is BTW. What does BTW mean? Does it mean big tight waist or by the way? Yes, by the way is correct. Next, TBH. What does TBH mean? Does it mean to be honest or to be held? Waiting? Yes, the answer is to be honest. Next is IMO. What does it mean? A, informing my own, or in my opinion. Of course, in my opinion is correct. What about IRL? What does it mean? Does it mean in real life or in Roman letters? In real life is correct. TMI. Does it mean too much information or take me inside? So score yourself. Let me know how many of this you got right. And I'd also like to know down in the comment section how many of these abbreviations you've been using and how many of them you just learned in this video. We also have some other interesting, fun abbreviations used on social media. For instance, you have the SMH, shaking my head. I pity you, SMH, shaking my head. And then you have the LOL, laughing out loud. I know we use that a lot. LOL has saved a lot of people, especially when you don't know what to say or how to respond to a particular comment or a chat, and when you're conversing with someone on social media, especially WhatsApp. The next thing is LOL, even when you're not laughing, even when your face is as straight as a block, you just put LOL to save the days. And then you have the ROTFL, rolling on the floor laughing. Okay, so many of them. I'd like to see your examples down in the comment section. All right, that's about it today. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of Fluently Speaking with Bola today. Please do not leave without subscribing if you haven't. Like, comment, share, and also watch my other videos here. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye. P.S. I love you. P.S. I love you. P.S. I love you.